Hi guys. Hi, hello. I hope that you're all doing well tonight. If you are new here, welcome to my channel or welcome back. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you are doing well. Tonight, we're gonna do a little bit of a neighborhood gossip ASMR, okay? And then we're also gonna do a little bit of spoolie nibbling, nothing crazy, okay? Nothing crazy, just a little bit of, like when we think of something to say, we're just gonna, we're not gonna be chewing on this end, because if you know me, you know I do not like that. I don't like the sound. No. But just a casual little neighborhood gossip ASMR. Now, right now it's very hot in my apartment, okay? It's very hot. They have not yet turned on the air for the summer. So it's about 80 degrees in here right now. That's not like an exaggeration. That's just what the temperature is. And I have a fan that I run, but it's very loud. Oh, be quiet, sir. We're filming here. But my apartment building as a whole now, I'm moving, okay? I'm moving out of my apartment soon. I'm moving. I've lived here for 3 years. I've lived in this apartment for 3 years. And, it was very close to my school, and so that was great. There's a lot of problems. Well, they're not even that big. It's not even that big of a deal. Just inconveniences. There are a fair bit of inconveniences, but I think that comes with every place now. My building has a security guard, right? Which is very nice. That's very nice. I appreciate that. The problem is that the security guards here, they're not very nice to people, and they also don't care at all. And I get that, okay? I get it. But I have been to some of my friends' buildings where the security guards are nice, and we did have a really, really nice security guard. A really, really nice security guard. He was my guy. He was my dude. And he left about a year ago, and it's never been the same. Because it's like a rotating crew of people, so like you see some of the same people. Oh my gosh, there was a guy who used to work the night shift, and I'm just now realizing I have not seen him in a long time. I didn't even think about it, because he would only work sometimes. But it's been months since I've seen him. He must have gone somewhere else. Oh, and he was a sweet one too. So, basically, they don't let any of the delivery drivers come up. Like if you order something, if you order groceries, if you order DoorDash, they do not let them come up, which, like, I get it, but they only do that for delivery drivers. Anyone else can walk into the building. If you walk into this building and you act like you're supposed to be here, ain't nobody gonna stop you. But they see a little DoorDash bag and they go, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't go up." And even then, So you're telling me it was sitting back there for a month? And it's always the nice security guards who actually like go through the effort to find it. So now I try to just only ask for my packages when one of the nicer guards is there. My favorites have all left. But that's it. It's hard not to be annoyed because you can't do anything about it, and you spent your hard-earned money, and sometimes it's something important, and you have to be like, no, my eyes are uneven, guys, and it really bothers me. This eye opens more than the other eye, and it really bothers me. Try not to pay attention to that. I know I've just pointed it out to everyone. How can I hold my face so this is not? Anyways, so that's what bothers me the most, right? Not my eye, the package stuff, but I'll be leaving soon anyways. So I also don't have any makeup on tonight, guys. I'm leaving tomorrow to go on a trip, and I'm very stressed about it. I'm very nervous. I can't sleep, so I was like, I might just get up and film a video. I'm not gonna sleep anyways, and it's hot. But so now we're gonna talk about people who live on my floor, okay? So there was this man that I kept seeing, right? I would see him in the elevator, right? We made small talk. I found out he went to my school. He was the year below me, and he was cute. And I said, oh my gosh, okay. Like, I'm in my era. I don't believe in dating apps. I believe in meeting people in IRL. And if you're going to do that, you got to take risks. Okay? So, I was like, here's what I'm going to do. I know where he lives, obviously, because he lives, like, next door to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, we've had a few conversations. I'm going to take a little note, and I'm going to put my Instagram handle in it in case he doesn't like remember who I am or something. He can see and be like, oh yes, that's her, the girl who lives at the end of the hall. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put my Instagram handle and I'm gonna put it on his door. And so I did that. So like, kudos to me, I think, for even doing that, taking the risk. And I put a little note and I said, hi, like, I'm your neighbor, we've talked a few times, I think you're cute, do you want to go get drinks? He might have been 20, I'm not sure. 20 or 21, I don't know. Anyways, and then I put my Instagram handle and I put it on his door. Now I thought about slipping it underneath the door, but one of my friends was like, girl, that's weird, that's creepy, you can't do that. And I said, okay, so I put it on his door. And it stayed there for a couple days. I don't think he was home. I think he was like out of town for the weekend or something. But eventually the note did disappear from the door. And of course I have not heard back since, which is fine. You gotta take risks. And then I've also seen, like, over the past couple weeks after this, I've seen a girl going into his apartment. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, does he have a girlfriend? If he has a girlfriend, I hope that they were like able to have a fun little like hee ha about it, like I hope I didn't like get him in trouble or something with his girlfriend. Because I would feel bad. I mean, like, I just said like, hey, I've seen you around and I think you're cute. I wasn't like, so, we live and we was studying abroad. He helps watch my cat whenever I go out of town. We've done a fair bit of stuff. Sometimes we'll do stuff just the two of us. But he's been in relationships off and on. I don't know what's up with him. He's always with a new girl, and I'm like, what are you doing? Literally, what are you doing, sir? How are you always on a date with some girl? But he said a few things, and my friends were like, do you think he's into you? And I was like, I don't know. I was also not sure. I was like, am I into him? And yeah. But anyways, I invited him to go to the karaoke bar with me and my friends, right? So we go to the karaoke bar, and I realize I forgot we're gonna go to the club after, right? I realized I forgot my AirPods in my apartment, and we live pretty close, so I was like, I'm gonna run back to my apartment and get my earplugs before we go to the club, right? And I'm like, I don't want to go alone. So I'm like, okay, Kevin, do you want to come with me? I don't want to go alone. And Kevin is like, sure. So my other friends wait at the karaoke bar, and I'm like, guys, I'll be right back, okay? I'll be right back, and then we'll go to the club. And I have the tickets for the club. I'm on the guest list, so I'm the one who has the tickets. So Kevin and I go to my apartment, and Kevin and I were both a little tipsy at this point, some drinks have been had. Oh my gosh, wait, this is kind of embarrassing. Oh my gosh. And how much detail am I going to go into? Oh, I just breathed so loud into the mic. I'm so sorry. I might have cut it out though on the audio. Basically, there may have been a kiss. There may have been what some would call maybe making out. And all the while, my friends are waiting for me at this karaoke bar because I said I was just gonna run. Right. And we were both pretty drunk at this point. Okay, I'm gonna be so honest with you. We were both, and he was already not planning on going to the club after. He was like, well, we're going back to our apartment, so I'm just going to stay here. I don't want to go to the club. And I was like, okay. And so we're kissing, and this man is like, you should just stay here. Don't go to the club with your friends. Stay here with me. I said, no, sir. No, sir. No, I gotta go to the club. Did you see those people down there? They're waiting on me, and I have the tickets. You think I'm gonna abandon them? You think I'm not gonna go to the club with them to stay here with you? No, sir. I have a duty. I have an obligation to my fellow constituents to take them to the club. I gotta be dependable. My name is the one on the tickets. So I go to the club, and he goes home to his apartment. The next day, I text him, and I'm like, hey, so we should talk, right? Because he's very quiet. He's not a move maker, and I'm like, well, we gotta talk about this. So we had a discussion, and we decided that we're just gonna stay friends, which I think is the best idea. But then I realized, I said to myself, girl, this is your neighbor who comes in clutch whenever you go on a trip and you have to have somebody watch your cat. You've put that all in jeopardy now. You put that all in jeopardy. And I was afraid. I said, oh my gosh. But I think we're chill. I think we're good. We had a good talk. We were we're gonna be friends. So anyways, I was like, oh my gosh, because I'm traveling now. And I'm like, what if he doesn't want to watch my cat because of this whole fiasco? And I'm like, that was so dangerous. I should not have done that. You couldn't have waited a little bit longer. You're right about to move. Thankfully, he did agree to watch my cat. So that was person. And he was like, I mean, like, you're pretty. Oh my gosh, thanks. But he was like, you talk about other guys, so I just assumed that we were not, like, that was not the nature of our relationship. And I was like, that's fair. But I was like, well, sir, you talk about other girls all the time. You're like, I'm going out with this girl, I went out with this girl. He's actually going out with girls. Do I talk about guys? I mean, yeah. But, like, not like I'm going out with guys. I'm like, ooh, there's a guy in my class who's cute. Anyways, that's the tea. And now I don't think anybody in my life knows about this channel, but we gotta hope they don't now, because I would feel bad. I'll take it down if he, like, finds out and is like, how could you say this about me? I mean, I don't think this portrays him in a bad light. He didn't do anything wrong. Sometimes, you're at that age, sometimes friends kiss, you know what I mean? It just happens. But he's going out of town part of the time while I'm out of town, so I met my other neighbor, who's a real sweetie. We're gonna call her Ashley. I met Ashley. And we talked a few times in the elevator. I love to be chatting it up with people in the elevator. I say, ooh, what you got to eat tonight? What you doing? Hot day at work. So I was talking to Ashley, and then finally I saw her again, and I said, hi, Ashley. Well, actually, I said, what's your name? Because I didn't know her name, because we hadn't, like, talked on that level. She was like, Ashley. And I was like, hi. And I was like, now, I live down the hall, right? And I'm going out of town, and I was wondering if you would be maybe willing to watch my cat. How would you feel about that? And she was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to. And I was like, okay, awesome. So we exchanged numbers, and then I texted her. And then the other day she came over to meet my cat, and, like, learn the ropes, and she was so sweet. Oh my gosh, Ashley is such a sweetie. I wish that I had, like, connected with her sooner before I was moving, because she's such a sweetie. But I'll invite her to stuff, I'm not moving too far. I'm just moving, like, down the road, basically. So, but she was super sweet. She's a nurse. I think she said she was a nurse. She might have said medical assistant. I'm not entirely sure what the difference is. Forgive my, ignorance. But she also works part-time as a florist, and she wants to do that full-time, which I think is really funny that she works part-time as a florist and she wants to do that full-time instead of doing, like, the medical job full-time. Not that I can talk, I'm an artist. I mean, hello. But I think that's so beautiful. Anyway, she seems absolutely lovely. And she was talking about her next-door neighbor, right? Who's this older guy. He's lived in the building for like 15, 20 years. And she was talking about him. And I've met him. But she lives right next door to him. But he's a talker. And let me tell you, that man will catch you, and you'll be stuck there. Not in a bad way. He seems sweet. And I'll chat with him. But one time I did get stuck chatting with him, and I was like, I gotta go to a meeting. I'm on my way to a meeting. I'm so sorry, but I cannot be late. They're gonna kill me if I'm late. But they just renovated the apartment next door to me, so there's nobody living there right now because it was working. They were working on renovating it. Oh, there was a guy who I haven't seen for a while, who I wasn't the biggest fan of. There would be noises, like I would hear people yelling and screaming and grunting, not like that, and like just like shrieking, and I would be like really worried, and I would try to figure out like who is doing this, what neighbor. I knocked on my next door neighbor's door, not my friend, the other one, where it's now vacant, one time because it was just so loud, and I said, hello, sir. And he answered the door, and I was like, are you screaming in there? What's happening? Are you okay? He was like, I've had my headphones on. It's not me. And I don't think it was him, but it was somebody. And I don't know if it might have been this guy, because there was one time where it was really bad, really, really loud, like crazy. And I was like, what is happening? Of just one person screaming. And then I swear, like a couple days later, I saw him, and both of his arms were broken. going? How's your day going? You know? Like, they'll just, like, not even acknowledge you, but at least they don't, like, pretend to be nice to you and then end up being rude to you. They're just rude to you from the beginning, so. You know, there's that. But one of my friends from school, I found out he lived in this building, so I went to his house the other day for a little party. And, he lives with one of his fraternity brothers. And I went down there. And I was like, they opened up their fridge and it was just beer. Which, mind you, this is not a big fraternity. This fraternity has 8 freaking people in it. Like, this is a tiny little not bum fraternity. I respect this fraternity. I'm sure it's great. But this is not like a frat house. And I'm like, what are you doing? Where's your food? And they were drunk enough. I think they thought I wanted food. And they were like, we have snacks. And I was like, no, I'm fed. I'm good. Thank you for your concern. Where's your food? Like, what are we doing here? What do you eat? What do you do? Like, and I know that's the typical frat experience, I guess, but I expected better of this person. You know, they're a friend of mine, I thought. Surely not, but I just don't even know anymore. But in my building, another thing just about the building before I gotta run. There are 2 elevators and they're both so fucked up, and one is always broken. They alternate, they break so frequently. I've gotten stuck in there multiple times. Everyone who comes to my house talks about how scary the elevators are. And the latest thing is that they'll take forever to open, right? So I talked to one of the elevator guys about it. I caught him in the elevator one time when he was like taking it up, and I was like, what's the deal with these elevators? And he was like, they're really old and they need to be replaced. But they're not replacing them. And he was like, so basically, like, the elevators break when they try to open before it's like fully seated, right? So they'll like try to open too quickly before the mechanism's ready, and then they get stuck. That's how they get stuck. So he was like, so what we're doing is we slow down the elevator. We make it take longer for it to like open once it reaches the bottom, so that hopefully the mechanism is ready by that time and it doesn't get stuck. And I promise you, no exaggeration, one of the elevators, the left elevator, when you reach the bottom floor, it takes about 20 seconds for it to open. So you reach the bottom, the elevator stops, you stand there for about 20 seconds, and I promise you, I know that sounds like an exaggeration, and I promise you it is not. And you always know who's ridden in that elevator before and who's like a tourist or a guest or something, because they'll start freaking out and they'll go, oh my gosh, we're stuck, oh my god, and you have to be like, I'm so sorry, honey, like, that's just the way this elevator is. Give her another 10 seconds and we'll be out of here. Most of the time, unless it breaks. But I don't add that last part because I try to be friendly and nice. Yeah, I won't miss these elevators.